Hi, Caitlin. I just wanted to record this quick video to tell you exactly what it is that I'm wanting from you for your histogram. I love how you wrote down all the information on this chart here. You really only need the name of the state and the number of cases. You don't need any of this other information here, the deaths. We're just looking at positive cases in each state, including Washington, D.C. You don't need the other territories, which it looks like you left those out. So you've got your information, which is great. Now you need to take this information and put it onto your frequency table. So you did really great up here. You did 0 to 5,000 cases, and you found out there were 23, 5,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 15,000. You really don't need a break right here because the 15 to 20,000 just has 0. So you can just put 0 and then continue on. But here's where things start to get a little bit messed up. You need to keep your bins at 5,000. Okay, so when you are looking up here at your first 3 bins, 0 to 5,000, that is a span of 5,000 cases. Your next bin, 5,000 to 10,000, when you take 10,000 minus 5,000, that gives you 5,000. So that bin is 5,000. Your next row is 15 or 10 to 15,000. So that bin is a width of 5,000. Now, when you get down here, your bins increase in size, and you cannot do that. You have to keep your bins consistent. So for instance, from 20,000 to 30,000, that's a span of 10,000. That's a difference of 10,000. You can't do that. You have to keep your bins at 5,000. So this next row should be 20 to 25,000. So you're skip counting by 5s. Okay, so you'll need to fix all of this down here from 20,000 on. So this should be 20 to 25,000, 25 to 30,000, 30 to 35,000, 35 to 40,000, and so forth. Now, you will find that once you get up to, I'm not even sure, like 70,000 or 85,000, somewhere in that area, you're going to have a really big gap where there aren't any states that fit in those bins. And if you made a bin for each of the places in the gap, you're going to have a lot of space, okay? That is where you are allowed to put a break. So if you don't have anything from, let's say, 85,000 up to 200,000, you don't want to write a whole bunch of bins. That would take up a lot of time and space. So that's where it's acceptable to put a break to show that, hey, there's nothing here. And we're going to skip way ahead up to, I think New York has something like 296,000 cases or something like that. Actually, we want to use the data that you've already collected. So you had that New York has 300,000 cases, which you might want to double check that because I'm really surprised if they have exactly 300,000. But if they do, you want to have a bin that is 300,000 to 305,000 cases, and then put 1 hash mark in there to represent New York. I know New York and New Jersey are what we call outliers because they're way higher than all the other states. So that's where it's acceptable to put a break. You don't need to put a break where it's just one blank line, but you can put a break where there's lots of blank lines. Okay, so once you get your frequency chart fixed and straightened up, then we can go to your histogram, and it looks like you did a pretty good job with what you had. You want to make sure that your numbers are on the lines, which they are. This is good. And that you're coloring up to, okay, this is where we had some problems. So you've got you've got 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. If you look at what you have on your chart, you said that there are 25 states that have between 0 and 5,000 positive cases. So your histogram in this 0 to 25 space, you should only be colored up to the 23 line. Okay, so about here. So all of this shouldn't be colored in. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And then your next bin shows that there are 8 cases between 5 and 10,000. So you want to color up to the 8 right here. This is your bin from 5 to 10,000. So you need to color up to the 8. All right. So when you get up to the higher numbers and you end up having a break in your data, you want yours to look like mine. Let me show you mine. Here's my histogram that I uploaded. See how there weren't any cases when I did the data. This is different than what you have. But when I looked at the data, there wasn't any states that had between 40 and 85,000 positive cases. So instead of having this all be blank and it be really a long axis, I put a couple lines in here, and you can see there's a space here so the bars aren't touching. That shows the people that are looking at my graph, hey, there's a break in the data, there's space here. So she put this little line here, and then we see her histogram bar for that there was one state, and it was New Jersey, that had between 85 and 90,000 positive cases. And then we didn't have another state until New York, which had between, when I looked at the data, 235 and 240,000 cases. It's way higher than that now. So don't do what I have, you do what you've got on your thing. But you can put a break there so you're not putting a whole bunch of blank space in there. So hopefully that explains what it is that you need to fix on your chart, your frequency table, and your histogram. But if you have any questions, definitely send me an email.